WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Abortions are happening again in Kentucky after a legal challenge to laws recently passed by the legislature. But could a Supreme Court decision ban them for good? That's the question after an apparent decision was leaked to the media that says justices plan to overturn Roe v. Wade this summer. It comes after the Republican-led legislature in Kentucky has passed a flurry of bills to restrict abortion in recent years. There's even an issue to vote on this November. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on how a big decision in Washington will be felt here in the Commonwealth.
Within the last few years, as Republicans have taken control of both House and Senate, legislation to restrict abortions has become prevalent.
We actually have a constitutional amendment on the ballot this fall for the people in the Commonwealth to vote on.
That basically asks people if they favor a new section of the Constitution to not protect the right to or fund an abortion. This past year, they voted to restrict abortions after 15 weeks. And now the Supreme Court could be on the verge of overturning Roe v. Wade, with Kentucky and 12 other states with trigger laws to ban the procedure.
If you follow SCOTUS on a regular basis, you could read the tea leaves, and if you read any of Justice Alito's potential opinion that was, again, leaked in an unprecedented manner, I think you can see this coming.
Well, first, I think it's important to note that the leaked opinion is not necessarily what the final opinion is going to look like. And I think it's important to note that the leaked opinion changes nothing for right now. Abortion is legal in Kentucky.
Governor Beshear says he believes abortion made illegal will create other problems.
I've seen people victimized at its worst. Young girls, 13 years old, raped and impregnated, sometimes even by family members. If that opinion goes through in Kentucky, those victims won't have any options.
But Republican lawmakers say their recent actions have simply followed what their constituents wanted.
And we wanted to be proactive, not reactive.
Planned Parenthood of Kentucky and Indiana released a statement saying in part that what's coming is dangerous and will open the floodgates for states across the country to ban abortion, devastating communities nationwide. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
House Bill 3 passed this past session is currently being challenged. While abortions did stop for 8 days, a judge's injunction at least temporarily reopened Kentucky's 2 abortion providers, both of which are in Louisville. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell had some strong words about the Supreme Court leak and the response, pointing fingers at what he calls the radical left, calling the move an attack that, quote, hit a new low, and urged anyone who could to take action.
This lawless action should be investigated and punished to the fullest extent possible.
There will be much more about this later on the CBS Evening News at 6:30.
Storm chances, or at least sunshine, has actually been the calling card of the weather forecast throughout the day today. However, those storm chances are beginning to work into the region. First for some in our northeastern sections, and then shortly for the folks out west. Timing it out at the moment, Mountain Parkway at Slade, you see the sun is shining, but look in the distance, those dark clouds overhead at the moment. I-75 at London, a rather stormy scene there. In fact, what you're looking at right there in the middle of the image, that is likely the rain shaft from one of those storms that's working through portions of Laurel County right now. Temperatures around the region remain mild, low to mid 80s around the region. You'll notice we have a couple of areas of storms. One now pushing into Wayne County, West Virginia, right on top of downtown Louisa at the moment. But we go a little bit further to the south, and that's where we're starting to see showers and storms bubble up near the Corbin area, on top of Bush right now into portions of Clay County. That'll be pushing towards downtown Manchester before too long. And in fact, that'll be impacting the Highway 80 Howard Rogers Parkway corridor between London and Manchester before too long. This is not severe and not a lot of lightning with this, but the potential will be there for winds up to 40 miles per hour, and even some small hail as that continues to grow. Continuing to watch storms across central Kentucky as well. That will provide us with a chance for showers and thunderstorms through the evening hours, and a couple of those could be on the strong to severe side. Forecast for tonight, showers and storms, upper 50s once that cold front pushes through. Going to be much cooler as we head into the nighttime hours tonight. I'll have the very latest on when we could see more showers and storms move in coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. We are following reports of a murder in Clay County that happened this afternoon. A release from the Clay County Sheriff's Office said deputies responded to a home off of Arnott's Fork Road to complaints of a fight between Elsie Wagers and a woman. When deputies arrived, they arrested Wagers and charged him with murder. The woman's name has not been released. A Madison County murder suspect is expected back in court tomorrow. The hearing for Shannon Gilday was delayed last week. He's appearing on charges of strangulation and assault. Gilday is charged with shooting and killing Jordan Morgan. After his arrest, police say he attacked a corrections officer. Court documents say Gilday put his forearm on a deputy jailer's neck, which forced him to have trouble breathing. Pulaski County Sheriff Greg Speck reported the arrest of a Somerset man on several charges after multiple attempts to serve warrants. On Saturday, Jonathan Scott Whitaker was found hiding underneath a mobile home off Kentucky 1003. Deputies said they asked him to come out, but he refused, so they went under the trailer to get him. A release from the sheriff's office says one of the deputies used his taser on Whitaker before placing him under arrest. He was initially charged with fleeing police and resisting arrest. The warrants are related to multiple charges that go back to March 2020. Whitaker was taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. A story that has echoed through the mountains for nearly a decade will soon be heard around the world. A four-part documentary series on former Eastern Kentucky lawyer Eric C. Kahn is released on Apple TV this Friday. Kahn is remembered for running the largest Social Security scam in U.S. history. An attorney with Pillersdorf Law Offices and former WYMT reporter Tanner Hesterberg, who covered this saga, says he hopes this series will shine a global spotlight on how devastating the fallout of this story continues to be in our region.
Every story seems to have a villain, a victim, and a hero. And I think people will watch this documentary and draw their own conclusions on who was the bigger villain between Eric Kahn or the Social Security Administration for tearing these benefits away from all vulnerable people in Eastern Kentucky.
Hesterberg adds that the true heroes of this story are the volunteer lawyers who stepped in to help the countless victims during this crisis. Eric C. Kahn is being held at an Ashland federal prison where he is not eligible for release until 2040. Kentucky State Police are asking the public for help finding a Harlan County man who's been missing for more than 1 month. Will Smith of Everett was last seen by his family on March 26th of this year. A news release said he was seen driving a car, but it's not known where he might have been going. Anyone with information can call Post 10 at 606-573-3131. A fire in downtown Paintsville destroyed one building and left another damaged. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about the early morning call that had crews working for several hours.
With smoke filling downtown Paintsville overnight,
I come outside and it was burning. Like 30 minutes later, one minute it wasn't burning, and 30 minutes later I come out and it was blazing.
Neighbors feared the worst, finding flames pouring through an apartment building on Main Street.
I was just worried the other buildings were going to burn and stuff, you know what I mean? Just, you know, main priority was worried about getting everybody out of the buildings, you know, and stuff, so nobody got hurt.
Firefighters hit the scene just after 2 a.m. for what would soon become an hours-long fight against the flames.
It's not only exactly what's in front of us at that moment, it's what it's going to evolve into. We, early in the process, we did have it knocked down, had it totally blacked out and extinguished to the eye, but that wasn't the case.
The Paintsville Fire Department, with help from W.R. Castle's Fire Department, worked through the night and into the afternoon to subdue the situation.
Then you can't see it until it shows itself, and it does that by fire. It catches on fire and then it burns through. So that's what we're up against, is trying to get ahead of that, and that's very hard to do.
Focused on containing and extinguishing the fire, with buildings close by on every side.
I'm just glad somebody seen it before it got any farther, you know what I mean? put a stop to it.
Saying though the apartment building is a loss,
Everything went pretty well, in lieu of everything that we had faced.
they were able to dampen the destruction. In Johnson County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Fire officials say they do not believe anyone was injured, but they still have to investigate once the smoke clears. The cause of the fire is still not known. Well, it's time to dust off your hats and bow ties as the 148th Kentucky Derby is less than 1 week away. And if you're not heading to Louisville for the race on Saturday, the Appalachian Arts Alliance in Hazard has you covered with its second annual Art Station Derby Party. We are told 250 tickets have already been sold. Individual tickets are $40 each, and money from the tickets goes back into the organization so it can pay for its overhead costs.
We've received support from people we never expected, and people are seeing the Art Station as the community center that it is. Yeah, we focus on arts, but we also focus a lot on community, and I think people are seeing our efforts in that, and it's been rewarding so far.
The Derby Party is on Saturday, May 7th from 5 until 9 p.m. at the Art Station in downtown Hazard. Again, individual tickets are $40. You can go to the Arts Alliance Facebook page to buy those, and they are hoping to see 350 people attend. One Eastern Kentucky ministry is expanding its outreach thanks to a grant from Save the Children. WYMT's Dakota Makris explains.
We are very excited to get to pair and partner with Save the Children.
A new kids reading corner and activity space was unveiled Tuesday morning at Spark Ministries inside the Perry County Courthouse. Spark is a faith and recovery-based ministry.
Help those who need intervention in recovery. Families can come in, they can do a intervention called Casey's Law.
Working with both the adults in a family and their kids, now the ministry can work closer with those kids by providing them with a Bible and hands-on lessons.
We know that anytime that you can hand a child reading material, that it is going to encourage a child and help a child grow, not only mentally, but emotionally.
The Reading Corner and Activity Space was made possible by a faith-based grant from Save the Children.
So I applied because, I would love the opportunity to come into the faith-based areas and to be able to promote kindergarten readiness.
Saying they also educate families on the importance of early childhood education.
Anytime that we can go into these spaces and provide these materials for the parents and caregivers and the children, then we consider that a win-win.
Spreading education and the Word of God. In Perry County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
We are told Spark Ministries has helped at least 1,000 families during the past 5 years.
And coming up, I've got the latest from Pinpoint Doppler on storms in the area now, and the latest from FutureView on where they're heading. That's next. And May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. We'll hear from an expert about warning signs and how you can protect yourself.